Perfect. I'm Cassie Steffen with Access Hollywood, and I am joined today by Kiernan Shipka and Gavin Leatherwood from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having us.
Now, in the most recent trailer that Netflix just dropped, they teased that we are going to see the most difficult enemy that you've ever faced. What can you guys tell me about what you're up against this season?
Yeah, we're up against the eldritch terrors.
Which are?
Well, they're like entities, they're beings, they're all sorts of crazy stuff.
Part 4 is a great way of like displaying a villain that is so much more than something that's physical. It's these villains that we're facing in Part 4 really require the coming together of an entire group of people, witches, mortals, and they've all got to band together in order to face this thing that is so nebulous. It's so unclear what the troubles are. They're summoned by Blackwood himself, who's just an evil conjurer of certain things. And the Eldritch Terrors seem to be this crazy, existential, cerebral kind of enemy that is hard to pin down and definitely plays on characters' insecurities and emotional baggage and personal things of that nature.
I want to make that my ringtone.
It'd be a weird one.
Now, you're mentioning a lot of these characters coming together, and I think that at this point we've now weaved a pretty tangled web of people dating each other, breaking up, all kinds of relationships. Are we going to see that drama unfold with all of these characters coming together to fight these terrors?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there are plenty of moments and characters that come together. Things feel full circle in a lot of ways. Fans are going to get a lot of what they want. We are feeding the fans with the drama and the content and the characters.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, fun.
Now, I'm very curious, especially for this relationship between Sabrina and Nick, which everyone loves, myself included. Do we think, is Nick gonna get a redemption arc this season after all the craziness of last season, coming back from being in charge of Satan?
Without spoiling anything, let's review. We last see Nick on steps with Prudence. He's just helped fight off the pagans with the rest of the group, and we've driven them out of town. And there's a moment between Prudence and Nick where they're just sort of sitting in their feelings. Prudence had just sort of left Ambrose in a weird state, and Nick has kind of been coming to terms with whatever emotional baggage he was going through. And for the first time, he's sort of feeling them, and he's feeling them in his confidant at the time, which is Prudence. And meanwhile, Sabrina's got, you know, the weight of the world on her shoulders. So that's where we leave them. However, the thing that Nick has caught a glimpse of is love. And that is not easily forgotten, and the heart knows what the heart wants. And it's going to be an interesting dynamic between Miss Sabrina Spellman and Mr. Nicholas Scratch this season.
I'm excited to see how it plays out. Now, this is obviously the end of an era, and I would be curious to know, how does it feel bringing things full circle and coming to a close?
I think it's bittersweet, but there is a sense of closure that I think is very earned. I don't mind goodbyes. In fact, I like goodbyes. I'm weird, and I, enjoy putting something behind me, especially something as wonderful and delightful as this was. Had a bit of experience with that with Mad Men. That was also a little 10 years of my life, and learning how to say goodbye to that while also holding like a lot of space to feel all the things, something I got good at. So this time around was a little bit easier. I think I was a little bit more well equipped, but it is also bittersweet. I'm gonna miss these characters, and I'm gonna hold out hope that we can play them again one day, wherever that may be.
The thing that's great, Cassie, about this is like, we have 2 years of our life captured just like in front of the camera. that will be on Netflix for a long, long time, hopefully. You know, like we have memories beyond those scenes too. So selfishly speaking and like personally, every time that I watch a scene, I'm like, oh, I remember like Tati was whispering that into my ear, or oh, that was the day like Ross and I went and played music off in the trailer, or you know, that was when I pestered Kiernan and hers and like stole a bulletproof from her thing, or whatever. It's like we have all of this content or material that has been cemented in time in a TV show, and yet there's all this other stuff that we can cherish in our memories about it. So there isn't a dark, heavy sadness, at least personally speaking, and it doesn't sound like for Kiernan either, where this is like a looming thing. It's like, wow, what a beautiful thing. We got to share all this. We're going to be able to look back at this for years to come and think about the amazing relationships that we developed. And what a hell of a time it's been.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and I can't wait to see the final season.